Every person needs the blessing from their father. Many adults still struggle today. Low self-esteem, working all the time, trying to prove that they're good enough, all because of their father's lack of affirmation. Their father never told them, "I'm proud of you." He never made them feel approved, so they're still trying to measure up, gain this approval that can only come from a father. Fathers, we have something to give our children that nobody else can give. Other people can tell them how great they are, how special they are, but when you tell them, it carries a whole new weight. As the father, you have the God-given authority to bless your child. Every time you say, "I'm proud of you, I love you, you're beautiful," God releases strength into your child. Value, confidence, security. Those are not just nice words. It's what the scripture calls the blessing. You are propelling your child toward their destiny. And we're all busy. It's easy to get sidetracked or even at odds with our children. When they're not doing right, when they straighten up, I'll be nicer. When I'm not so busy, I'll spend more time with them. Or, "Joel, they know I'm proud of them. I told them 14 years ago when we brought them home from the hospital." No, they need to hear again and again, you're the father. You carry the blessing. Don't withhold your love, your affection, your approval. Now, you may not have received this blessing from your father. He wasn't around growing up. Or maybe he was there, but all he did was correct you, tell you what you're doing wrong. He didn't show affection, make you feel valuable. Don't let that negative cycle get passed to the next generation. You can be the difference maker. You can set a new standard. Start blessing your children. Start calling out their seeds of greatness, telling them what they can become, prophesying their future. Let them know you're their number one fan. When you see them in the morning, give them a hug. Don't let them pass by without showing your affection. Sometimes we were raised to think, we're men. We don't express our feelings. We don't hug. We don't say nice things. That would make us look weak. It's just the opposite. When you show your feelings, you're strong. Real men hug their children. Real men show affection, make their children feel valuable. Real men go out of their way to approve, to validate, to encourage. Fathers, our children have been given to us as a gift. Do you know how many people would love to have kids? They're going through infertility treatments, spending thousands of dollars, enduring pain, suffering. They'd do anything to have children like ours. God has entrusted you with His most prized possession. He's counting on you as the father to give them the blessing. Your approval, your love, your affirmation carries more weight than any other man. Without your blessing, your children will struggle in areas that they did not have to struggle in. There's a reason people are insecure, angry, overly competitive, promiscuous. Many times the root cause can be traced back to they never got the blessing from their father. I know a man that's extremely successful. His business has taken off, but he's never satisfied. He works all the time, so competitive, he's got to go higher. We were talking one day, and he brought up how his father has never acknowledged his success. Never once told him he was proud of his son. When they visit on the holidays, his father never brings up his accomplishments. And this son, instead of being proud of who he is, enjoying his success, he keeps working harder and harder, hoping one day he'll gain his father's approval. What a difference it would make if the father would just pick up the phone and say, "Son, have I told you how proud I am of you? How I think you're amazing? How you mean the world to me?" It seems so simple, yet it carries so much weight. It fills a void that only the Father can fill, something we were all born with. Even as little children on the playground, there can be 20 other adults, people that we know, but we're constantly saying, "Look at me, Daddy. Watch me run, Daddy. Watch me jump, Daddy. Watch how fast I am, Daddy." We long for our daddy to watch us. We long for our father to say, that's good. You're strong. You can run really fast. We could have our babysitter watch us, our cousin watch us, our neighbor watch us. But when it's our dad, it takes on a whole new meaning. This longing for our Father's approval was put in us by our Creator. Your children may be 50 years old today, but deep down, they're still saying, watch me, Daddy. Look at what I'm doing. Look at how I'm raising my children. Look at how I'm excelling in my career. They still long for your approval. Fathers, here's the good news. It's never too late to bless your children. You may not have done this growing up. This is not the way you were raised. But I wonder what would happen if you picked up the phone, called your son, daughter. They may be 30, 40 years old. You hadn't spoken to them in a while, but you call and say, hey, I just want to tell you how proud I am of you, how much I love you, how I think you're amazing. Your approval, even later in life, can be a turning point for them. Your validation of their family, their success, their accomplishment can put an end to issues they've been struggling with, can bring healing and wholeness, set them on a whole new path. A friend of mine named Robert grew up with an alcoholic father. They lived way out in the country. His dad was known as the town drunk. Robert was the star football player. In high school, he was named an All-American, went on to play in college. Football was what he lived for. But in spite of all of his accomplishments, deep down, there was a missing piece. As far as he knew, his father had never seen him play one football game. His dad had never complimented him, never told him that he was proud of his success. Even though his father was an alcoholic, Robert still longed for his approval. Years later, he found out that his dad did attend many of his games, but he stayed way over to the side because he was so embarrassed by his drinking problem. After Robert's football career, went to seminary and became a minister. One day he received a phone call saying that his father had a heart attack and might not make it. Robert rushed up to the emergency room, saw his father lying on the bed. His dad was going in and out of consciousness. He wasn't completely there. He thought Robert was the doctor, the cardiologist. He said something that forever changed Robert's life. He said, "Doctor, have I ever told you about my son Robert and how proud I am of him? He was the star football player, led the league in tackles. Now he's the great pastor of a church." Went on and on bragging on his son. Robert began to weep. That day, he heard the words that he had waited 35 years to hear. It was like a healing balm was released on the inside. It filled a void that only a father can fill. You think, well, come on, Robert, he's an alcoholic. He's never been there for you. Just blow him off. No, the Father holds a blessing that is a strategic piece to our puzzle. Maybe like Robert's father, you haven't been there for your children, had struggles and issues, and now you think, my children don't need anything from me. Joel, I've made a lot of poor choices. They're doing better than I am. No, just like with Robert, they still need your approval. Don't withhold your blessing. Sometimes we think, they know I love them. They know I'm proud of them. I don't need to tell them. No, a blessing is not a blessing until it's spoken. People don't know what you're thinking. They can't read your mind. Even though it may seem minor to you, as a father, when you tell your children you're proud of them, it can do something major in their life. The blessing of the Father carries so much weight, it can help release them to a new level of their destiny. I think about growing up, how many times I heard my parents tell me that they were proud of me, that I was going to do great things in life. My father would brag on me so much in front of other people, it would embarrass me. Every place we would go together, he couldn't wait to say, "Have you met my son Joel?" He'd go on and on telling all of my history, how I did the television production at the church. Nobody could do it better than me. And I was the greatest producer, the greatest director. None of that was true. I wasn't the greatest anything. But I kind of like the fact that I had my father fooled. But really, more than bragging on me, he was speaking the blessing. He was approving, validating, honoring me. There's a reason people are secure, confident, they feel valuable. It has a lot to do with the blessing from their father. One time in the 4th grade, the principal's assistant came and got me out of class and said my father needed to speak to me on the phone. I was alarmed, wondering what was going on. Walked to the office, my heart beating fast, answered the phone. Yes, Daddy, what is it? He said, Joel, I'm ordering Red Lobster for lunch today. Do you want tater tots or French fries with your meal? One thing about it, I knew my father cared. He traveled a lot when I was growing up and couldn't attend many of my basketball games, but every once in a while he would show up. My father normally wore suits. He didn't have many casual clothes, but when he had come to my games, for some reason, he would wear short pants. His legs were so white, you needed sunglasses. They looked like the glory of God. If that wasn't bad enough, he would wear his black dress shoes with those shorts. That contrast was deadly. I was so embarrassed, but I had no doubt my father was so proud of me. Maybe you're a father in a single parent situation. You don't have your children with you all the time. That's okay. You can still give them your blessing. Don't take the easy way out and make the mother do everything. Your children need your love, your guidance, your support, your mentorship. If a young lady doesn't get the approval from her father, many times she'll try to get that approval from other men. She'll go from relationship to relationship, not valuing who she is because she has not been valued by the most important male in her life, her father. Your daughter, as a little girl, she looks up to you as her hero. She admires you. She thinks you can do anything. She's not going to feel good about herself until she knows you think she's the greatest thing in the world. You're teaching your daughter how other men should treat her. She's learning from you what love is. She's felt her mother's love, but you are her first male love. You are her first boyfriend. It all starts with you. It's going to be compared to the love that you show her. That's why it's so important, fathers, not only to treat your wife with honor and respect, but treat your daughter like she's a queen. You are setting the tone for how she will allow other people to treat her. If you're harsh, rude, condescending, don't have time for her, you're teaching her that's how men treat women. That's okay, find somebody like that. But when you treat her with respect and kindness, you value her, make her feel loved, important, honored, that's the standard she's going to set.